How's it going, everyone? I'm SirJames coming at you guys with another lightsaber video, and this time we have a little small fun one to check out, and this is a Grogu inspired lightsaber. Now before you start commenting already and saying wait a minute, Grogu doesn't have a lightsaber, the keyword here is inspired. In this case, they took inspiration of the character Grogu from The Mandalorian and made a lightsaber, and thus that's what we have right here. Now, this isn't the first time I've seen a Grogu-inspired hilt. There was one that I saw beforehand a few years back, which was pretty neat. That was a like Beskar coloring with the Mudhorn sigil, and it had the knob from the Razor Crest as the pommel section. If I could find an image, I'll put it up on screen. But now we have this one as well, which is more taking inspiration of the character himself rather than just like other things that would make sense. And it's a fun design nonetheless. Now, of course, this particular hilt is of a Xenopixel install done by the LGT Nexus. Other than that, I did receive this lightsaber, of course, on ArtSabers website, so I'll have a link to this in the description down below. And speaking of ArtSabers, if you haven't visited their website in a while, they recently revamped their online site, and it looks so much better compared to all the previous times, because in the past, I will admit that it seemed to like kind of cluster all together. It was kind of hard to navigate and find what you're wanting to look for, but now their website is much more clean, organized, and it looks better than ever. So definitely worth checking out, especially after you're done with this review, of course. So let me go ahead and give you guys a closer look of this particular hilt. And let me know some of the things you might be noticing that looks like inspiration of the character. And some of the things I will point out as well. Like I said, this is Xenopixel installed. As far as buttons go, there is one singular button, which is going to be located right here. Pretty obvious. There is a total of 3 retention screws. There's one here in the middle, left and right hand side. As far as blades go, this will be using a 7/8 NeoPixel blade. And if you wish to get access to the internals to add your own saber fonts, you will need to remove this section. Now, this section doesn't unscrew like, typical lightsabers would. This does require a little bit of a disassembly, which in this case you would have to remove this screw right here, an identical one on the complete other end, and I don't know if it's required or not, but I tend to also remove the button, which just unscrews pretty easy and screws right back on, and then you can slide the chassis out, getting access to the internals. The only main thing to really point out is that as far as the chassis goes, there is no like kill switch, just because this is of a smaller design, so therefore you're only limited to what you can do with that smaller form factor as far as the chassis goes. But again, other than that, it does have your charging port there and easy access to what you would expect as far as a Xenopixel saber goes. So other than that, things to kind of point out here, in case if you haven't noticed already, is the pommel section is basically like the basket that he was in the majority of Season 1. We got that green there, like Grogu's skin. This copper section here could be more of the his clothing that he has. And this little fun detail here on the upper emitter. You got a set of eyes here with the ears. And it looks pretty neat. Like I said, it's just a fun little Grogu-inspired design and looks pretty neat. In fact, let me go ahead and give you a comparison to a next to a Yoda's lightsaber, just for size comparisons. While the Yoda one is more based on an actual lightsaber the character has, as you can see, there's a little bit of inspiration there, just obviously some few key differences. Now, sizing is just about almost the same. The Grogu one is a little bit bigger due to the fact that the base section here does round out instead of being flat like the Yoda one. They'll still neat to see nonetheless. So if you are someone who likes to collect small form factor lightsabers, this might be one to add to your collection or add next to your Yoda saber in question. I know some people were always curious, will we ever see Grogu get a lightsaber? I'm kind of like on the fence about it. I kind of don't want him to get a lightsaber just because I don't think he really needs one, since he did let go of that portion of his training with Luke to go back with, Mando himself. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think we will ever see Grogu with an actual lightsaber in the future, or do you think it's best to see him not without it, just use the Force? Let me know in the comments down below. So let me go ahead and bring over a blade. As I mentioned, this will be using a 7/8 NeoPixel blade. We're just going to go ahead and tie these down. Now, if you are someone who is new to the channel, and if you are thinking of getting your very first lightsaber, and it's going to be of a NeoPixel, or not a NeoPixel, a XenoPixel version. XenoPixel is great, especially for newcomers and the lightsaber community, just because it's easy to learn, it's easy to add saber fonts, and it's got a bunch of built-in features that you could always have fun with. You know, everyone's going to have, you know, their certain favorites when it comes to the different features on there, but if you just like having numerous options, ease of use, and one that's also fun, then you definitely can't go wrong with XenoPixel. So let me go ahead and just make sure the saber is on. Boom. And we are ready to begin. I guess the first thing to mention is, if you are unfamiliar with XenoPixel, XenoPixel does have the option to connect to your mobile device using an app called Xeno Configurator.
App connected.
As you can already hear, it's already connected through the app. This is the app function in general. What's neat is that you can tap this kyber crystal here to magically turn the saber on, just like so. And tap it again. Other little functions there, you could even go here on the bottom to scroll to your different lightsaber fonts. The next setting over allows you to change your blade length, the brightness. And if you don't like gesture controls or motion controls or whatever, you could also enable or disable those features there. And of course, updating your XenoPixel is as simple as going to the settings here on the far end, selecting the update software, and if there's an update available, it will show on here, just like that. You select update and it will do the update for you. So before you even attempt to add any lightsaber fonts, make sure to update it on the latest firmware. It makes it so much easier to do so. Other than that, as far as other ways to change lightsaber fonts, is that you could hold down the button until it says
The Knight.
Just like that. And the other more quicker way of doing things is having the lightsaber pointed in a downward motion and twist to your left. Not right, because if you go right, it will do just like that. But if you twist it to your left,
Wanderer.
just like that.
The Protector. The Dark Empress.
Boom. Let's go ahead and turn off this light here. And normally I could just stand here and reach it like so, but because I'm using such shorter ends of this, so we're just going to go ahead and cycle through some of the fun settings and whatnot, starting with, of course, sound. You know, sometimes people want to know what are your options when it comes to sound. Now, because of the smaller form factor of this saber, typically with XenoPixel, you could change from your volume low, medium to high. Here, on the other hand, there is no option for high volume. It is going to be locked at a medium. And then, of course, you still can go to low and mute, like so.
Low volume. Mute.
Mute just basically means, obviously, you can turn it on without annoying anyone, but still have fun playing with your lightsaber without disturbing anyone. I'm sure the parents will be happy for that feature.
Medium volume.
And as I mentioned, it will only go to a max of medium volume for this particular lightsaber, so keep that in mind. Most of the other ones, again, go to high, but this one is going to be locked at a medium. Other than that, if you hold down the button for 2 seconds, it will allow you to, 1, 2,
Steady.
to change the blade style. So in this case, we have steady. No, as you can see, fancy effects with the blade, just a steady stream blade. Nothing crazy. I typically like it when it like fades a little bit, like a little pulse. Adds more, a little bit of a life feature to a lightsaber. 1, 2.
Low volume.
Oop, I did it too early.
Mute. Medium volume.
There you go. There's actually a function in the app that you could enable, or instead of counting like I am, or it would actually make a beep sound, so that way you know exactly how long it's been holding. But some people don't like the beep function, others might like it, so it's all about user preference at that point.
Unstable.
And then we're going to go into unstable. Now, some people would think the unstable one would be great for a Kylo Ren one. In fact, I have a Kylo Ren Xenopixel here to review. But the unstable one doesn't really, instead of being red, it's more of a pinkish color. But there's another saber font that matches that Kylo Ren style a little bit better. 1, 2.
Rainbow blade.
We got our RGB blade right there. Because every PC gamer knows the more RGB you have in your computer, or in this case, lightsaber, the better the frame rate and response is going to be. 1, 2.
Candy blade.
Candy blade, a little different. Again, 1, 2.
Cracked blade.
Cracked blade. Kind of has more of a rippling effect. Now, other than, of course, the multiple of different blade styles you have access to, holding down the button for 3 seconds and letting go will change the ignition type. So let me change the saber font.
The sun.
Let's see.
The third hunter. The master.
Which one's this one? There we go, that would work. Green for Grogu. So again, if you hold it down for 3 seconds, we are going to change the ignition type, which is basically what happens when you activate the blade. So 1, 2, 3.
Broken ignition.
Just like that. And again, 1, 2, 3.
Photon ignition.
And we'll do one more. 1, 2, 3. Oop, too soon. 1, 2, 3.
Stack ignition.
Just like that. And of course, out of the box, you do have your gesture controls. Things like twist on, swing on. Of course, keep in mind that whatever style that you have, it will enable that. Usually with things like Profi, for example, Profi would have an option where if you have something with a pre-on function, you could have it to where when you do the twist on or swing on, you could actually disable where it would skip that pre-on function and go straight to its main thing. On Xeno, as far as I'm aware, I don't think it has that function, but again, that only really matters if you have something fancy as far as the startup effect goes. I will say though that as far as the hilt goes, in terms of how does it feel in the hand and how does it handle, it feels great. Again, it's not super heavy as far as the hilt goes. Like the Yoda one that I have here, this is a TXQ installed one. This particular Yoda one's got some heftiness to it. While the Grogu one is a little bit more easier to use and handle. Oh, I forgot. In fact, let me change font there.
The Dark Lord Order.
Boom, just like that. And again, simple and easy to use nonetheless. Go ahead and turn this back on for you guys. Now, of course, keep in mind that usually with any Xenopixel lightsaber, this is going to be coming jam-packed with about 33 or 32 saber fonts, in which you could easily organize and add your own to increase more than what's already there, or just remove what you don't want and kind of reorganize your folders. Like I said, adding saber fonts to a Xenopixel lightsaber is a simple thing to do and such a breeze. So if you were to ever buy saber fonts, like for example Kyberphonic, he will give you saber font packages for things like CFX, Profi, Xenopixel, and you just kind of go from there and follow the steps. But like I said, this is definitely a fun little lightsaber design nonetheless. But what do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section down below. But yeah, like I said, it's definitely a really neat one for sure. But of course, speaking of which, of course, this weekend is going to be May 4th, Star Wars Day, or even my personal opinion, every day is Star Wars Day. But what do you guys have plans for the weekend? You guys doing anything for May 4th? Watching anything in particular? I know we have some new Tales of the Jedi or whatever the series is called. I forget what the next one is. I think that's supposed to release on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, or during the week. As for me, I will be attending Disneyland, of course. I'll be hanging out for about half the day, give or take. Probably in the morning until the mid-afternoon. But again, let me know what your plans are in the comment section down below. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and may the Force be with you.
Thank you.